Let's start with that. I can't lose weight because I have X disease or something. I'm like, calories in, calories out. It's thermodynamics. Like,
It's
I'm sorry,
simple.
but it's the laws of thermodynamics. Like, it's the, like, you can't, if your car gets 20 miles to the gallon, and you put 2 gallons in your car, it is impossible for you to go farther than 40 miles. Okay? That's how energy density works. If you eat 500 calories, and you burn 500 calories, you're at net zero.
Want me to draw pictures?
It's not complicated.
Johnny has 5 apples. This fucking table is disgusting. What the?
This is how you live.
This is how I live.
The table is nothing compared to your kitchen.
Welcome to my dwelling. Yeah, you should see my fucking kitchen right now. No, this is not a pre-stream. This is the show right now. You're about to hear this, right? This is the show.
This is the show.
This is the show. Hello, viewer 2323. What number is that? That's more than 1.
Do you know what we need? I should start bringing my laptop, or you know what, my tablet, and just like have it here.
Shadow that's being casted.
just to have it, just have it be a thing.
Yeah.
Wow, you are low lighted, aren't you?
You like that? I like that. I kind of like that.
I kind of do. It's like you're the dark side.
Do you like that? Dude, whoever is watching,
don't yell into your mic, dude.
I have a pop mic on, or pop filter.
The pop filter stops the popping noise, but you are like it hits the red.
So if I put my mouth on
your
the
face is already like right next to your microphone, like.
Hello. Yeah, it's okay. I could probably be right over here and still red. Okay.
Yeah, so I wouldn't worry too much about it, man. Like, Jesus Christ, man.
Yes. Well,
Jesus Christ.
Something went wrong, and we don't have an intro. So
we don't have an intro because
we make an intro.
But what we do have is this beautiful necklace from Relentless
Rebels.
I tried Relentless Rebels.
Try saying that 10 times fucking fast.
Relentless Rebels.
RelentlessRebels.com. Or is it .net? Hold on, let me actually check this.
How about you go on their Instagram page, follow Chris Gulick or Iron Theory CG. I'm sorry, Iron Theory CG. Find him on Instagram.
It's like share, dude.
Look up the post where he is.
You can't reveal my fucking.
Where he is shilling.
We can't see. I don't think you've had enough of that. Drink more of that shit.
I haven't had enough calories.
Drink more of that shit.
I need to lose 10 pounds because I'm fat as fuck.
Fuck. We're just laying it all out right now.
I am
one with the universe.
I am one missed meal away from hypoglycemically just passing out.
Did you say missed a meal? Like misdemeanor?
Like if I miss a meal, I'm one missed meal away. Misdemeanor, dear God.
No, it sounded like misdemeanor. Like misdemeanor, but misdemeanor, but like really.
Oh, team, welcome to the pre-stream. I know that Chris originally incorrectly said that this is the actual stream. We will start our actual podcast in a little bit. Oh, actually, it already is.
You mean 4:32?
It is 4:32. Yeah. Wait, why did we start late today?
I don't know. I think I was just fidgeting around too much up there.
Fidgeting around with the computer. Oh,
yeah.
Well, damn.
So you see, what happened was
you lost a few brain cells, some neurons misfired. You misconnected. You disconnected.
Disconnected. Shit. Yeah, I don't know what happened.
Insert Windows XP shutting down noise. Oh God.
That's one of my favorite videos, where it's the guy that's on the fucking like roller coaster, and somebody edited it to the Windows XP startup and then the shutdown song. Perfect. I'm sure somebody has seen that. Whoever's listening to it, let us know in the comments if you've seen it. So, I'm going to make an intro right now. Ready for it?
I'm ready for it.
I thought you were going with like the THX like loud sound.
I don't know what I was going for quite yet, to be completely honest. But
bros and brolettes,
Vikings and Valkyries.
Welcome to. Who the fuck knows what we are anymore? Is that who we are?
Iron Theory.
Iron Theory.
As opposed to the other Iron Theory who was trying to.
Hey, let's call them motherfuckers out.
Let's call him up. What's his name? Jesus and somebody else.
Pablo.
Jesus and Pablo. I tell you what.
I bet you they're listening.
Our Iron Theory.
This is like a wrestling promo.
Yeah, isn't it?
It's like
almost?
we're doing the.
Do you think we would make good wrestlers?
I think we'd make excellent wrestlers.
Like a tag team. I think you and I would be.
Yeah, you got the taller dude and then the shorter dude, but very strong guy, and then the
like high flyer
kind of guy
or something. Like I don't know. I think that would be interesting. Can we?
maybe we're destined for pro wrestling.
Maybe that's the next big thing. I'm gonna sell my gym equipment, buy a wrestling ring and a mat,
and just put it in
just
your
learn how to
backyard.
Yeah, just like fuck it all, like we did in middle school, in our friend Michael's basement. Just like fuck it.
I know I know the title reads Olympics. But this is the fucking episode right now.
Yeah, this is the episode.
This is the episode.
Get to the Olympics.
We'll eventually get to it.
We will eventually get. Do you know what bothers me? That Olympic wrestling, like people still refer to it as amateur wrestling, and then like sports entertainment is pro wrestling.
I think that's funny.
Me. Like it actually bothers me. Like that's come on now.
That's funny.
It's collegiate wrestling.
Yeah, I think. What do you think about wrestling? Like from the I guess the sport itself.
Are you talking about like
amateur,
like Olympic style wrestling?
Yeah.
I think it's interesting. I think a lot of these like, do I want to call them combat sports?
Yeah, I would say
it's different from. I mean, it's very different from say judo or anything like that because like all these different sports are in the Olympics, right? But I'm gonna call it combat, one-on-one combat style. I get it; it's not the same, but. Y'all know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a little redundant between other disciplines like judo or I don't actually have an opinion because I don't follow it. I don't know that much about it.
What's your gut reaction? What do you think of it? Sport by just like staring at it?
I have much more opinions over professional wrestling than I do over Olympic wrestling.
What did you say? What kind of wrestling?
Like I have many more opinions about the state of professional wrestling than I do wrestling in the Olympics.
Definitely.
I haven't watched it. It's not something.
What do you think about that? What do you think about? Should they put pro wrestling in the Olympics? Let us know in the comments.
You're gonna fail the doping test. God damn it!
I don't know.
Half your roster is gone due to like just years of steroid abuse.
But I think they got pretty or what?
Yeah, no.
We thought got better after
no.
people died and killed families and shit.
No. Oh yeah, I remember that. No, definitely not. Look at those dudes. No.
Speaking of doping.
Olympics okay, so let's actually talk about the Olympics. Here is something that really pissed me off about the Olympics this year. Or last year. I mean, I guess it's the 2020 Olympics. It's 2021. These are the 2020 Olympics. But they're happening in 2021 because in 2020, the thing with the virus and the still hasn't ended yet.
No, it's ongoing.
Okay, whatever. That's a whole nother issue. So the Russians were banned from these Olympics because in Sochi, when they hosted the Winter Olympics, there were all these doping scandals, and the Russians, to be fair, the Russians are always involved in some sort of scheme. Like it just seems to. In every sport, in every federation, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Well, okay. When I say the Russians, I mean like fundamentally at an administrative level. Like the government and their Olympic Committee were involved in doping scandals. Like having systems, passing piss tests through walls to evade tests. Like it was full on institutional from the Russians. So it's not like It's not like
you mean from like the actual from the government.
Yes, from the government
the highest
and the
point
actual
of the government.
Olympic Committee. Like there was a whole system in place for doping and avoiding getting caught and testing, but of course they got caught. And I'm sitting there, it's all like, okay, I understand why the Russians were banned, because it's not like, okay, I get it if like an athlete dopes and then they get caught, I'm like, okay, fine, that's not the Olympic Committee's fault, or whatever is in charge of it in their country, that's not their fault.
Yeah.
Okay, sometimes maybe they know something's happening and they like ignore it or keep blind eye it, you know. But it's not the Russian the Russian Olympic admin were directly involved in actually providing and like faking test results. So that's why they're banned this year. But lo and behold, there I am watching the Olympics, and I don't watch everything. I've watched all the weightlifting, but I'm like sitting there and I'm like, ROC, what the fuck is ROC? I don't know what ROC is. And I'm like, so I look it up, I'm like, that's the Russian Olympic Committee. I'm like, okay, so you ban the Russians, but you let the Russians compete, but not under their country name. They're competing under the Russian Olympic Committee. And I'm like, it was their fault! You banned the Russians because of their Olympic Committee.
I wonder how they thought they were going to get away with like doing the drugs and doping, and especially, I mean, how many athletes were caught? Do you have a number for that?
It has nothing to do with the athletes at this point. It has everything to do with the actions and the, not just knowledge, but the full-on, like, permissibility of it from the Olympic Committee and through the Russian government, who set it up, provided equipment, set up systems to evade testing. Like, that's the issue. I don't want to pin this on any one individual athlete.
Yeah, because for all we know, they could have been forced to be doing these specific things. I don't know.
Yet again, and I have no evidence to back this up, I'm convinced that every single top athlete at the top of their game is on something.
I mean, I'm
fully convinced
that's fair.
That the top athletes of any discipline in the world are on something, whether they get caught or they don't. I'm fully convinced. I don't care. You can't change my opinion.
I mean, as far as like doping and like sports in general, especially the tip-top athletes, I'm talking like superstars. I mean, whatever that might be, that could even be like an amphetamine or something like that. Yeah, like Adderall or something that's helping them focus. There's some kind of enhancement that they're on. So I agree with that.
And there are so many different things that count as doping but aren't. Like I know that cyclists will, what's it called, like breathe in pure oxygen. They'll get platelet transfusion or red blood cell. They'll get red blood cell transfusions, but some things are allowed, some things aren't. Like it's insane. The amount of shit that people have figured out how to alter the physiology of the human body is fucking incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, and the more I look into it, the more new substances appear, substances that have really short half-lives that you can take it, you're called up for a drug test, as long as you haven't taken it in the last 24 hours, you're not going to find it, because literally it already, like, your body metabolized it. There's always this arms race between, people developing new performance-enhancing drugs and testing committees who are trying to, like, whatever. I'm convinced that every single top athlete in every single discipline is on something.
Yeah,
fully convinced of it.
100%.
There's no way in hell.
No. I mean, every single top athlete, I don't care. Doesn't matter what the sport, whether it's team, combat, I feel like they're on something.
Like that's just my assumption.
I think it's a fair assumption, though. You're not the first person I heard say that, but I think there's something to that. But that, again, I guess our opinions, man. But
it's not like it's not like they really matter, and it's not like I really care. I'm indifferent to whether or not athletes use steroids.
Yeah.
I don't care. I get it. In the Olympics, you want everybody. It's a feat of marvels of what humans can do. But at what point, like, will there be a point where we have truly optimized? I mean, to the highest degree, optimized training, optimized equipment, optimized everything, nutrition, to such a point where there is no more progress that can be made. That there is no heavier lift that can physically possibly be done. There is no farther throw. At what point do you take, like, at what point do steroids become acceptable just to push or just to make something entertaining? Like, oh, we've seen a 5-minute mile so many times now. Who gives a shit anymore?
Imagine this though. Androids, or what would you? What's the actual term for like biomech stuff?
Yeah, like the enhanced with that
limbs
stuff
and like stuff like that. I wonder when that becomes acceptable, where they're like, you know what? Fuck it, I'm gonna be RoboCop.
Well, I mean, it already is. I mean, if you've seen the Paralympics, like the way some of these artificial limbs are made, I'm like,
well, that's one thing, but I'm saying, like, when it gets to the point, you know, as far as technology is concerned, that we can enhance ourselves through essentially a microchip or something like that to, you know, somehow go past beyond human capability. I think that'd be very interesting, wouldn't it?
Okay, so is that... so let's put it this way, okay? So if you
the
take...
Olympics.
So let's put it this way. Let's say we take natural human performance and we max it out. I mean, I don't know when that's going to happen. I don't know if we've hit limits.
And what does that even look like?
Whatever.
Who knows, right?
then we can, you know, okay, fuck it, everything's boring. All the top athletes in the world have officially hit the maximum human capacity for anythingness. Capped out, okay, whenever that is, if that's happened yet or not.
The last X-Pac has been
Juice
downloaded.
the fuck out of them. You know, the Olympics is no longer just like about honor, respect. No, it's just like a whole bunch of people on as many drugs as we
yeah, forget anti-doping. Let's just full on, just fucking, let's see what happens to these people. Just soup them up. Like, as much as they can possibly handle, dead or not. Let's see what happens in this very short time frame.
Here we're going to have the wrestling event. And it's not even countries anymore. It's just drug categories. Here is bath salts wrestler. Here is methamphetamine wrestler. Just like...
I think you're onto something. I mean, that would be entertaining, right? I would watch that. I would definitely watch that. Like, because... Let's be honest. Most people don't have enough money to actually fly to the Olympics, right? If you can watch two dope fiends go at it on television, I think that is very entertaining because most people are watching it. And I made a little list of like top 5 useless. But like, so here's some of my useless. In my opinion, useless sports within the Olympics. So 3x3 basketball. Football, golf, shooting, road cycling. But if they were all on dope, imagine that.
Okay, first of
basketball,
all, I can't believe. Okay, first of all, road cycling, that's kind of cool. Okay, do you know what does bother me that's in the Olympics? It's all the fucking equestrian events.
Oh, that was one I saw, but
horse dancing bullshit. Like,
that's kind of cool to see, though.
It's not. But should it be in the Olympics, though?
True.
Is that really a test of human anything?
It's really the horse,
no,
right?
I don't,
the horse is doing the work.
Can somebody explain to me who the fuck decided that horse dancing should be in the Olympics?
Becky the horse girl wanted some fucking time to shine.
And how are you not including speed walking in that?
Oh, that's right. Oh, you know what? I was funny.
You have to reevaluate. You have to reevaluate your useless sports in the Olympics.
It's so funny you mentioned that because I was with a client and we were working out and she's talking about, man, she was watching speed walking, right?
Yeah.
She was watching it because it was on or whatever, and she was with her sister or whatever, and she was like, you know what, I'm gonna try speed walking. She was going out for a run, but she's like, you know, fuck it, we're gonna mess around. And she went speed walking, and she pulled her fucking lower back from speed walking. That shit can be intense,
dude.
dude.
I get it. It's difficult. I know. I bought into it. Okay, listen. I watched it. I was watching the Olympics. Of course, I was on Ambien, so hell if I remember anything. But like the commentators really were trying to sell this like it's different from running. It's a different technique. It's a different skill set. These are different rules. Blah 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 blah. And I'm just looking at it, and I'm like, why not running? Like, do you really need, like, what?
Did you see the one guy?
God.
I don't know I don't know if this was this year,
the Olympics.
but from the start, like when they take off or whatever, there was one guy who's like walking, he's walking fast, and then suddenly like pulls like a hamstring or some shit, like almost instantly from just like gyrating their hips so much. I don't know. Yeah. It was pretty.
I mean, I get it. Okay, first of all, those people walk faster than my sprint. So I'll
a lot of
like
that calf,
yeah,
I guess.
I mean,
because like it's the calves that are really like, running too, I guess. But
and I'll give them that. But does it belong in the Olympics?
I guess I would agree. That's something.
Like, powerlifting isn't even the Olympics. And I mean, I understand the politics of why powerlifting is not in the Olympics, but like, really, you're gonna put speed walking and horse dancing in there? Like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, really?
Becky the horse girl needs
horse dancing is somehow more sport-ish or competition-worthy than fucking powerlifting?
Yeah.
Just don't. Come on, man.
So I put weightlifting in my top 5, obviously, because we're a weightlifting podcast, fitness podcast.
Yeah.
So I guess this all kind of qualifies. Anyways, I'm biased.
You know what? Let's stick with the useless.
Okay.
I want to talk about some of these useless sports that you decided to. You didn't even
Ball
add
sports.
the most useless. Like, you went
Speed
through
walking. I looked over it. I didn't even see it in the.
speed walking and dancing.
I actually went on the Olympics website.
Yeah.
And it broke down, all the Summer Olympic sports.
Uh-huh.
I don't know. I guess I didn't see it, or maybe it's called something else. Maybe it's like a different name for it.
But why is it in the okay? Whatever.
Shooting.
So let's go. Now, do you mean like sharpshooting, like the gun?
It's with the clay pigeon and shit. Like that kind of shooting.
No, I get it.
I don't know.
I mean, it's acuity, it's hand-eye coordination. No, I have nothing against the shooting things being in the Olympics.
I'm basing my list on from like a spectator at home standpoint. Like what entertains me.
Oh, at watching.
Like at watching it. Like I'm not even talking about skill or
You're
whatever.
thinking about merit of does it belong? Like,
no,
is it a test of a skill?
This is literally what I watch this. Am I going to watch this shit on the Olympics?
Okay.
Now, of course,
that makes
shit, yeah.
Okay, we were measuring different metrics.
Yeah, we're off with. I mean, that's fine. It's all valid. It's all good.
Perhaps we should have prefaced this. When you went through, so Chris made a list here of like his top 5 favorite and his top 5 useless. Okay, I'm slowly starting to understand.
See, that shit's useless. I don't know.
So
speed walking is kind of entertaining, so that's probably why I kind of looked
okay, it's
over
entertaining for like a minute until the ass wobbling goes away. It's just like
That's
it's just
true.
like you watch speed walking with your dogs the way they walk.
I mean, yeah, that's exactly right. They probably be good at it.
So much hate.
I could have included anything that's really like very distance based, like very like marathon-y kind of stuff. To me that's kind of boring, in my opinion.
The decathlon.
So that's why I put like the road cycling. See now what do they call pentathlon? Because I saw there was that too.
The pentathlon, the decathlon, the triathlon.
So
with the
what are they
shooting
adding?
and the bowing, arrowing, and the I don't know, dude. I don't follow it.
Shit.
I'm gonna be completely honest. Hey Google, what are the sports in the decathlon?
According to Global News, the decathlon events, held over 2 days of competition, are 100-meter sprint, long jump, shot put, high jump, 400-meter sprint, 110-meter hurdles, discus throw, pole vault, javelin throw, and 1500-meter run.
Interesting.
Okay, so that's not what I was thinking of.
No, I guess not.
What was the... Hey Google, what are the events of the pentathlon?
According to the New York Times, the modern pentathlon consists of 5 sports: running, swimming, fencing, shooting, and horseback riding.
I saw the
The women's
horseback riding.
pentathlon concluded on Friday. The men finished Saturday morning.
What a spectrum of things you have to be good at.
Okay, I understand fencing and shooting.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so I'm.
But then suddenly you gotta ride a fucking horse.
I get it, horseback. But what is horseback riding? Is it like racing? Is it like the fucking
Hurdles,
joust?
Yeah, is it a joust to the death?
Hey Google, why isn't jousting in the Olympics?
Right.
First of all, because that's a good fucking question. Okay.
Yeah, right.
Here's the topdrugs.com result.
What the fuck?
Is this when the kids are calling drug taking? Jousting. Yeah, we jousting.
Why
bro.
isn't jousting in the Olympics? Okay, really though? If the only reason I would horseback riding in the Olympics is if you're testing, old school stuff that you need to know as a warrior, as a soldier. I mean, old school, right? You need to run, you need to shoot, you need to ride a horse.
Crawl.
I get it. Olympics, old school Roman. I understand why you want that. And why the fuck isn't jousting in the Olympics?
That's a good question. I think
Jousting at the Olympics.
maybe at some point.
According to English Heritage, jousting is one of the world's oldest equestrian sports, yet has never been recognized as an Olympic sport.
It was never in the Olympics.
Put
Really?
it in the damn
Fucking
Olympics.
Horse dancing? Horse dancing is in the Olympics, but jousting isn't.
I'm
Are you fucking... What is wrong with... Okay, something is wrong with the Olympics. and it's nothing to do with drugs, that has nothing to do with politics. It's what fucking sports are in there. Really? Jousting?
Yeah.
Why isn't is it because it's dangerous?
I was gonna make a list of ones that should be in the Olympics, so we could add that to the
We're adding
list.
jousting.
Jousting.
You're fucking kidding me. Why isn't jousting in the Olympics?
I mean that's entertaining. I think that's a great spectator sport. Like, shit, you don't think people want to cheer on the one guy from whatever country against the other guy from the other country with these giant ass fucking spears on
I
their
watch the fuck out of
horses?
jousting. Okay, but also I understand jousting is not just impaling the shield
Yeah.
or making hits. Like jousting is also like getting the rings, hitting the objects. Like there's more too, because I watched the whole history too.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
The jousters or whatever. But I'm like, okay, now I'm mad. Now I'm actually mad. Who the fuck makes these arbitrary choices of what counts as a... Ain't no jouster gonna be on roids, man.
Yeah, right. You know how fast they can knock that motherfucker
Sir
out?
fucking Lancelot ain't gonna be sitting there.
Sir Lancelot, yes. Yes, definitely from the round table. England's gonna be great at jousting, though. They'd be tapping into that
Are
shit.
they? I don't know.
Medieval and everybody.
I don't know. The English Empire did not do so hot.
Oh, maybe not. But I was surprised how many like performance styles, so like dancey kind of like sports that were actually in the Olympics. There's swimming, like stylized swimming, I think they call it. The horse dancing shit.
Yeah, the horse dancing can go.
There was something else. I mean, I like the acrobatic stuff. There was a word for that one.
Oh, I do love the acrobatic stuff.
Which brings up that one chick, the one that bailed from the Olympics.
Well, let's talk about that later.
Yeah.
So I want to finish off this useless list before we move on.
Yeah,
So let's just break it up. Top 3v3 basketball. I understand why it's there. Football.
As in soccer.
As in soccer. I understand why. I get it.
The reason why I included those was because there's already enough of that outside of the Olympics. So that's why I included those like ball sports, because I'm like, okay, I'm watching the Olympics to see these like
What if I told you
bigger.
What if I told you that every single sport in the Olympics has its own circuit, just like every other sport? It just doesn't end up on ESPN or ESPN2, or it ends up at 2 a.m. in the morning on ESPN 7 in foreign language channels only.
That's fair.
Okay.
But I'll never be
golf.
A fan of
Golf is stupid.
Golf, I'll never
Shooting,
be a fan
I
of.
understand. Road cycling, I totally understand. Okay. So we had a different list. You're like what you want to watch and what you don't want to watch.
Yeah,
I get it. So let's talk about, sports that should be in there. Jousting.
Yeah.
I want to add... Okay, so what should be in the Olympics? So a lot of these are kind of stupid and like fucking horse dancing. I don't even know what it's called. I don't even care. Get rid of it. Okay, get rid of it. Am I being snobby when I say that? No. Okay, when you close your eyes and you think of a person who does horse dancing, is it always some like really snobby like Yale graduate like, yes,
That's what I would think.
Yes, Papa got me interested in equestrians.
They gotta use that word
something
too.
like that.
They won't say horses. They're gonna say fucking equestrians.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
Jesus fucking Christ. All right. So sports that should be in the Olympics but aren't: jousting, powerlifting.
See, would we separate that from weightlifting?
Yes.
Yeah, because
look at how many different running, sprinting. There's the 50, the 100. Like think about how many different disciplines there are within one.
Because I was looking, there's 3-4 versions of
no,
some kind of running sport.
No.
Yeah,
Are
powerlifting for sure. I'll put powerlifting there.
Jousting, powerlifting.
Excuse me.
Is axe throwing in the Olympics? Axe throwing should totally be there. If shooting and archery and all that is there, axe throwing should be also.
Archery is, but there is no
axe throwing. Fucking put in axe throwing.
Yeah.
Because that's getting popular. Sure. Axe throwing is getting super, super popular. And you know what? For shits and giggles, CrossFit. Let's throw CrossFit.
Axe throwing. Like Pain Olympics? Like that kind of thing?
Oh god, wow. That's going way back to middle school internet.
Who remembers the Pain Olympics? Y'all thought you were going to think about the Tokyo 2020 surprise, motherfucker. We're talking about the Pain Olympics.
Wow, that's old school internet there.
My
That's old school internet.
Yup.
Okay,
Fuck.
Kids going on Instagram.
Go ahead, Google search it. Google search Pain Olympics.
Oh my god, can you imagine? Kids going on internet, I can't believe my children need to see bad words on the internet. Meanwhile, middle school us, Pain Olympics.
It's like the Cheens meme where you got the big Chad Sheba, the jacked-ass Sheba, and then you got the Cheens slouched over it. Bad words are bad. And then we're like Pain Olympics.
Jousting, powerlifting, axe throwing, which by the way is growing in popularity. Like there are so many new axe throwing places. It's becoming a thing. Like it's becoming a real thing.
I actually went to an axe throwing thing in Schaumburg, and it was pretty fun.
Yeah.
That was pretty fun. Like just trying to learn the technique, learning when to release, and then just the hand-eye coordination. And then foot stance. I mean, there's a lot that kind of goes into it. Because it was like knife throwing at the Ren Fair.
Mm-hmm.
Almost a similar technique, but now you're using 2 hands.
Yeah.
All those triceps.
Axe throwing should definitely be in there. Yeah. And then I'm really. And then there are some stupid things that I am just super, super crazy about.
I know.
Like there's stone lifting, there's Highland Games, there's all these different strength sport. How many strength sports are there?
I feel like can you throw in Strongman in there? Would that be something?
There is no way there is number one. Okay, and here's why you can't throw in Strongman. There is no
from Scandinavia.
No. Because there is no official governing body of Strongman.
I see. Really?
So if you think about it, there's Giants Live, there's the World's Strongest Man circuit, there's the Arnold circuit, there's United States Strongman, but there really is no international governing body. Powerlifting has 50 million of them. Every single sport has an international group governing body
USA
that sets rules, events, keeps track of stuff. We have USAPL, which is part of the IPF, the International Powerlifting Federation. And if powerlifting ever were to be in the Olympics, I guarantee you it would be the IPF that runs it, not XPS or AP. There's 50 million different powerlifting federations with 50 million different rule sets. But if it's going to be in the Olympics, it's going to be the IPF. That does not exist for Strongman. There is no overarching anything. Rules aren't even made up by the federation. If you think about United States Strongman, they don't make the rules. The competition promoter makes up the rules.
Interesting.
So you can sit there and you can be you run an event, right? You own a gym, you run an event, you invite athletes, you just put it up, run it through USS. They don't really care. The rules are up to you. So
it's you're looking at a list and you're beer keg toss.
You can come up with anything you want. Literally, nothing is off limits.
Right, and that's
what makes it fun.
That's why it's exciting because it's you can literally watch 3 different competitions and you're going to see a couple different events. There might be some that are staples, but a lot of times they'll have different events.
Yeah, but there is no way Strongman is ever going to be. there's just no way. There's so many different events. There's so many different rules. There's so many different hurdles you would need to cross before Strongman gets into the Olympics.
Yeah.
Something like Highland Games, I think totally could be in the Olympics because it does have a governing body. It does have a certain set of rules that are agreed upon forever. Something like stone lifting, which is that also Scottish or is that Irish? Whatever. There are certain sports that can be, like if we're adding strength sports into the Olympics, I think Highland Games is a really good fit. Powerlifting, of course, great fit.
Sure.
If it's run by the IPF. IPF has its own drama, but put that aside. I think that those are great. You put esports in here.
I did. Yeah, I think esports. I mean, the popularity of esports has like skyrocketed within the last like 5 or so years. And there's like dedicated arenas now to esports, and like I mean we're on Twitch right now, so obviously this is the crowd. But esports, I think, would make sense. Now that's very broad because like, okay, well, what game specifically? But I mean, there's teams and there's a big international presence as far as like games and stuff because it's so easy. You're on a computer.
You know, I feel like if esports does become an Olympic thing, I don't think the game so much matters as it is the genre.
I think
so. There can be like different events, right? Gold in, you can call it retro modern, like retro fighting game, modern fighting game, and you know it could be Tekken. You know, it could be any of these.
Yeah.
And of course, you would know way ahead of time. But hey, here are the events. And here are the categories.
Yeah,
I get that there are different games with different everything.
Sure. But I think that would be interesting, and I think that it has such a mass appeal to, especially the current generation, our generation. Yeah. Like those are the two generations right now that are. You know,
that's a separate episode. You know what? That's next week's episode is esports.
Esports, yeah.
We're doing it because you know so much more about it than I do.
I mean, esports, yeah. So I mean, as far as like. You know, the different games and just the mainstream appeal now. Like so many people are just I'll save it for later.
Next week we're definitely talking about esports.
Esports.
Yeah, we're doing it. We're doing it.
Yeah, fun.
So esports, jousting, powerlifting, axe throwing.
One more just to make it 5. There's got to be one. I was gonna say curling. That's already in the Olympics.
Come on, chat.
Professional shredathon. No, I don't even know how you would even be able to measure that.
That is such an interesting. You know
like
what?
Some kind of musical event.
There are so many different variations of strength sports. Like for example, there is strength lifting, which is the squat, deadlift, overhead press, and something like Olympic weightlifting used to have a clean and strict press event. Like if you're talking about weightlifting as a sport, there used to be a 3-discipline sport: the clean and jerk, the snatch, and it had the clean and press, like a strict press. But that was removed.
Interesting. I wonder what year that was and why they removed it. I think that's something we should look up.
So something like strength lifting in addition to powerlifting, or why am I'm so limited to strength sports? I just can't think of another sport that could.
Professional dog walking.
No,
I don't know.
That's interesting. Is mushing in the Olympics, like Winter Olympics?
I don't know. I mean,
I think it is.
It's all within the spectrum
it like dog racing? I think it is. That's already in there.
Sledding.
Professional
I know sledding, bobsledding is for sure.
Bobsledding. No, like I think like the dog running thing.
Yeah.
Like I think that's already in there.
That might be a thing.
I'm 90% sure it is. Oh my God! What is another sport? I think mountain biking is in the Olympics.
Yeah,
like downhill.
Yep. Sure is. BMX biking. So that's something I plugged into my top 5 fave. But let's get one more out of there.
What else should be in the Olympics?
There's got to be something. Maybe
there is a new sport, or relatively new sport. It's played on a tennis court, but it's played on a modified tennis court, and it's getting a huge fan base right now. Sport.
What's that game called? Oh, like lacrosse ball. What do you call that?
Lacrosse is totally on it.
Like with the ball, the thing you would play at a DePaul.
Oh, ping pong?
No.
Squash. All of that is in the Olympics.
Oh, okay. Surfing's there. Table tennis, taekwondo, normal tennis.
Oh, pickleball.
What?
Pickleball. Pickleball is described as a cross between table tennis and tennis. I was watching, so here's how I saw pickleball. I take walks every day at work, and by the tennis court that I was walking by, every single day I saw people set up on the tennis court an extra net, and they were playing on the tennis court but sideways with these strange paddles and a ball. And I'm like, what the hell is that? And it's called pickleball.
Interesting.
And they were having fun. And I'm like, you know what? Pickleball.
That looks fun.
We're throwing in pickleball.
Fucking pickleball.
Because you have tennis, you have ping pong, put them in the middle, you have pickleball. We're throwing pickleball
What
in the
about-
Olympics. Shout out to pickleball out there.
What about dodgeball? I think we should throw dodgeball in here. What if there was a professional, international thing of dodgeball? Come on.
Sure,
Classic
throw it in there.
PE.
Throw it in there, dodgeball.
Dodgeball, yep.
Let's
Only
throw
because I
in
was playing
dodgeball.
dodgeball with Carly at a birthday thing. We were all playing
Shout out to
dodgeball.
Carly and Carby Eats.
Carby Eats, Carly Hustle.
Okay.
Yeah.
So here are your top 5 favorites. Okay, so weightlifting is on there.
Weightlifting's on there, athletic running, so like the sprinting stuff. Cause I like the drama. It's a classic Olympic event. I like that. I like the excitement that kind of happens. As long as it's these short bursts. Again, if it's like a long ass run.
Really?
What?
Really? Beach volleyball?
Yeah.
For
the sport.
Okay, I believe you. Like, I read Playboy for the articles. Okay, first of all, number 1, bullshit.
Men's beach volleyball.
Number 1, bullshit on beach volleyball. Did they fine the team for wearing pants rather than bikinis? I'm like, first of all, fuck you. Okay? You cannot give me one valid reason why they have to be wearing bikinis.
Right.
You cannot give me, it's not a safety thing, okay? It's not an unfair advantage.
You're on the beach.
It's like powerlifting where you have to wear certain types of underwear, like whatever. It's
Right.
not like that. What the fuck? Like, really?
But volleyball in
Like,
general.
I'm in full support of beach volleyball. Fuck it, let them wear whatever the fuck they want. What are you coming in there?
Yeah, unless
like
they want
you
to
have to wear a bikini. Whatever. If you want to, all power
Go
to
for
you.
it, yeah.
I'm not gonna stop you. But really, you're gonna fine a team because they don't want to. Like, come on.
But volleyball
They're
in general.
athletes. Show them some fucking respect.
Like
Dear
that's
God.
that's one of the ball
Yeah.
sports I like watching
Oh, yeah.
because it's just I don't know, it's just very dynamic sport. It's just very bam bam and then spike and then it's back and forth.
It is.
It's fun.
You
to
know
watch.
what? Yeah, I'm totally in. Yeah.
Yep. Beach volleyball, skateboarding, like
Yeah,
those like I was gonna be Kyle and I'm like okay, skateboarding BMX freestyle.
Just like Kyle it out.
Because again, it's just entertaining to
Monster
watch
Joe.
it. Yeah. It's just cool to see these tricks and stuff like that. And then specifically BMX freestyle because there's a BMX race, like a dirt bike thing.
Mhm.
But the freestyle is the tricky stuff. So that's like
Yeah.
that's another one of those dancey style things. But it's just
Yeah.
cool.
And there is also the sport of tricking, which is what Juji was into.
Yeah.
But in what I like to watch, I'm gonna remove like skateboarding and BMX because I don't know anything about it and I don't really care.
That's fine.
But gymnastics, huge fan. I love watching gymnastics, man.
Yeah.
And in the Winter Olympics, like ice dancing, holy fuck, figure
Yeah.
skating, love that shit. That's next level.
So I made an ignorant statement in my useless. I put handball, but I actually didn't know what the hell handball was until I looked it up.
Oh, handball's actually kind of cool.
And it is actually pretty cool. So I actually would put that up here.
Yeah.
Because I was like, oh, that sounds stupid. I'm just going to put handball because they're
yeah.
just, what are they
No,
doing?
handball's
Throwing
cool.
that ball around?
I mean, I totally agree with. I think that. Well, I mean, on your useless, that I agree with most of golf. I don't think golf should exist as a sport. Period. I
I'd rather
think it
watch
needs to be
paint dry.
banned. Like I think golf needs to be just the amount of land and water and just like it's such a stupid fucking
Think
game.
about the resources you
Like,
gotta
just,
use.
Golf should be banned. Like it's not for this world.
There's top golf, but like the
Yeah,
fact.
that's fine. Driving rate, whatever. I don't care. About
Yeah,
that.
that's fine. The little arcadey feel, the little putt stuff, fine. But if you're actually taking up acres of land so you can shoot around this tiny ass ball.
The motherfuckers have golf courses, natural, real grass golf courses in the desert. Like, fuck you. You're just like, golf is such an egregious sport. Golf should be banned. Like, golf should be, of the things, like, you know this, if I were to become dictator of the world, number one, the first thing I am banning is trucks.
I don't have to vote for you.
The first thing I'm banning is trucks passing other trucks on the highway there's a 2-lane highway and a truck is passing another truck, if you cannot pass that truck within 30 seconds or less, you should not be passing that truck. Okay, first thing I'm banning is trucks passing trucks on 2-lane
Now,
highways.
what happens if they break the rule under your dictatorship?
Execution. Okay.
Okay.
Trucks passing trucks. Fuck you. That's not allowed anymore. Okay. Number 2 is roads that do not have left turn lanes. Number 3 is golf.
Perfect.
Banning golf.
that's your top list of just
top 3.
national, just like
international. Here's what needs to happen.
These are the
roads that
immediate
don't
issues.
have a left turn lane. Okay. Trucks passing trucks and golf.
And fucking golf.
Fuck everything else. I don't care about anything else. Fuck golf. Fuck golf, man.
That's perfect.
Jesus
I like that.
Christ.
I like the way you think. What was the thing I mentioned about? And then we were like, we'll get back to it. Oh,
our ADD is really showing today.
That's okay. Again, we're with the right crowd. Oh, the girl that decided to drop out.
Simone?
Is that her?
Biles?
Is that
Yeah.
her? Yeah. Actually, I didn't actually look into why. I've seen like a few posts, but I've kind of glossed over it.
So, through my understanding of it, and I did post about this on Facebook already, she got what the gymnasts are calling the twisties.
What the hell
which
is
is
that?
which is when you lose your orientation when you're in the air.
Okay.
So I'm guessing it's some
Like
weird
a
vertigo
thing?
Yeah, like it's a mental thing, right?
Sure.
And I'm sitting there like, oh, she dropped out for mental health reasons, like blah blah blah. It's the Olympics. You should you should suck it up. And I'm like,
Okay.
I don't think you understand. Okay, I'm not a professional athlete, but I am in a sport, and I am going to compete soon.
You can have an opinion.
I'm not at the top of my game, but I'm also sitting there, I'm like, okay, I don't know the first thing about gymnastics. Okay, the things they do is fucking, like, I don't know how they do that shit. I'm amazed.
Yeah, definitely awe-inspiring.
There are sports where the risk of injury is so fucking high. Like, I'm thinking about, like, Strongman, where if you drop something, like, you're fucked. I'm thinking about certain sports, like, and there are days where I'm at the gym where there's weights that are usual warm-up weights for me, and they just don't move. It has nothing to do with anything. It's just my mental headspace. Imagine that. Like, failing a deadlift is one thing. You're 40 feet in the air, and you lose your place. You come, like, that, that's paralysis.
And that's how we were saying, weightlifting and just lifting weights is one of the safest things you could do outside, as far as like degrees of safety and other sports, but all these like ballistic, explosive kind of things, like gymnastics where you're jumping and doing all these crazy things, bouncing. I mean, that risk of injury must be pretty high, because if you land wrong, you're breaking some shit.
Yeah, one wrong
Gravity's
step.
kicking your ass.
Yeah, you're fucked. Like, that's game over. Like, you're paralyzed. Like, if you fall wrong, it's like, what's his name? Reeves, who played the first Superman, who fell off a horse wrong, and there he goes. Like, some of these sports are just like, I cannot think of.
See, now we're making equestrian riding even more badass, because they could fall off those damn horses and be paralyzed.
Well, at that point, you might as well put fucking bull riding in the Olympics
true.
then, too.
Mm.
Like, well,
True.
why not? Because that's animal abuse.
To the list.
That's way too abusive.
Yeah.
But it's just like, what pisses me off is like all these people who think like she should fight for her country. Nobody gives a shit. Like, her life is more important than the country. I'm like, all these people who have this opinion, like, really? You go ahead and you try it. And you tell me how it goes for you.
I actually seen a few memes I liked where it was like a guy sitting around and like just surrounded by chips and just like being like super shitty and like making that like similar opinion. Like, I didn't understand the context, but I'm like, okay, I guess I understand like what's going on.
Like, this motherfucker dislocates a finger and calls off of work for 2 weeks. These fucking athletes dislocate their shoulder, pop it back in, and continue. Like, don't tell me what's happening.
Right, and there is this pressure. So I'm assuming that from their coach, from their families, I feel like there is this culture within these kind of like the gymnasts and stuff like that, where a lot of these athletes from a very young age are like, okay, this is essentially what you're going to do. You're going to be really good at it, and you're going to make sure you're practicing, otherwise this and this happens. And that pressure, I feel, can break a person mentally. And I'm assuming that's why she dropped out. Was that the reason, some kind of mental thing?
Yeah, it was a mental thing.
Yeah, so... Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that goes to anybody. Like, if you have all this immense pressure and you're supposed to be this star athlete and there's this, like, image of you being, you know, amazing, but you're still a human being with feelings and emotions, it could be too much. And why can't this person step back for a bit, you know, just to figure that out and then come back and do your thing again, if that's something you're passionate about.
True, but it wasn't even that. Like I understand the physiological issue at play here. Like, if you are actually experiencing, I don't know what the twisties are. I've never heard of it. Like, this was the first time I ever heard this term. Like, in my head, I immediately think, like, oh, it's some, like, physiological vertigo-ish thing where you have a certain emotion, it translates into a physical manifestation of symptoms of some sort. Like, this happens all the time. I totally get it. Totally exists. Totally believe you. Definitely a thing.
Sure.
I don't even care that it's just like a pressure thing. Like, she felt unsafe. You don't compete if you feel unsafe.
So essentially she did her bit and then she had to do it again, but she had the twisties thing and
I have no idea. We don't.
She stepped off or
Yeah,
whatever.
she was just like, this is not going to happen.
Okay.
And I get it. You don't put your body on the line. If you're an athlete and something's wrong, nothing is worth paralysis.
Yeah, I mean, then that just goes back to, you know, when we talk about overtraining and whatever episodes where we might bring up overtraining, because we can bring that up in many contexts, but just that principle of overtraining can cause you to either injure yourself or something's going to go wrong, because, you know, it's good to just take a step back sometimes.
Yeah, we fully support Simone in her decision.
For sure.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah. I don't care what the reason was.
Stamp of
like if you feel off and you're in such a high risk sport, you nope right out of there.
Yeah, for
you
sure.
You don't fuck yourself
recuperate, fight for another day.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, don't sweat it. You did the right thing.
Weightlifting had two really cool events. Lasha. So I forgot his last name. Lasha is a weightlifter from Georgia, so he was in the 109 plus kilo division. So this is the open division. This is like the super heavyweight division. He broke every single world record you can imagine. He broke the snatch world record, the clean and jerk world record, and the total world record. I think he totaled 488 kilos.
That's a lot of weight.
Which is a
for you ignorant
insane
Americans.
amount of weight. And I was sitting there and I was listening to the announcers talking about it, because they obviously know the history, you know, the color commentary, that they follow it.
Sure.
I'm just like, all those attempts looked so effortless. Well, I don't want to call it effortless, but they looked so clean.
Smooth.
I think that if he was pushed, he could have broken 500 kilos. As it turns out, apparently 500 kilograms has never been broken in Olympic weightlifting as a total, which is like 1,100.
Yeah,
that's a
I was like, am I doing
stupid
the math
amount of
right?
weight.
That's a lot of
yeah,
weight.
it's an insane amount of weight. I think he could have pushed 500 kilos. I think if somebody put him in a position where he was forced to try.
Wait, what lift was it?
Lasha, total.
Oh, total. Okay.
So,
I see.
well, ain't nobody gonna snatch 1,000 pounds.
I was like, holy fuck,
Yeah,
who can do that?
Yeah. But
back to those dope Olympics we were
That's
talking
right,
about. Let's
exactly.
find out.
Dope Olympics.
Let's find out.
Yes. But I think Lasha could, like, I think that would be an interesting thing to see broken, the 500 kilogram total in weightlifting.
Yeah.
Like that would be interesting.
I mean,
I'd
go down in the history
to see
books.
that, yeah.
That's
And
for
I
sure.
think if anybody could do it, like after seeing, I don't follow the Olympics, but you know, it's such a small field. You know, there's like, okay, 20 people. Okay, great. I can follow this. Like looking at the form and numbers of everybody else, and I'm assuming those are the top athletes in the sport. Like, I don't know, but he can break 500.
I have a very distinct memory. Well, how about this? I want to ask you, do you remember what year your first memory of the Olympics on television was? Do you remember what year that was for you?
My first memory?
Yeah, like where it was like, oh yeah, okay, I watched the Olympics for a bit, or what, where you were able to comprehend, I guess, everything that was kind of happening within that specific year of the Olympics.
I didn't really care to follow anything. I think my oldest memory is going to be Lockley winning all those golds in swimming. I think that's probably the earliest I remember, and that's pretty recent too. Like that's 2000 something.
Yeah.
That's recent.
I just remember, I think it was 98, or whenever the hell that specific Olympic year was, because I remember it was on my television, and I would kind of watch it. Yeah,
Sydney?
It might be Sydney.
I think I vaguely remember Sydney.
Because, I paid attention. Obviously, I was a kid, but that was one of my first witnessings of the Olympics on the television. And then I just remember seeing it because I at my aunt's house and stuff like that, and they'd be watching it, and it was it was definitely fascinating as a kid too, entertaining.
Maybe a little bit earlier that I remember were the Winter Olympics, because Adam Małysz, the ski jumper, the Polish one. My mom was, because obviously Polish family, like that was a cultural thing that was happening in the hood that people were watching. So I think maybe my earliest Olympic memory might be the Winter Olympics with the downhill skiing.
Yeah.
Or the ski jumping or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was that second weightlifting? Laurel Hubbard. Yeah.
Yeah. She bombed out.
Which I think a lot of people were caught off guard by that, because I think a lot of people thought, because of who she is, that she was going to have some kind of advantage as far as, breaking these records. Yeah. Essentially, destroying records is what people were saying. Like, she was going to be killing them, right?
Well, she hasn't really done that off the Olympic circuit either.
Right.
Overall, her numbers aren't up there.
Yeah.
And I think here's what happened with Laurel at the Olympics. Now, again, I'm not a professional weightlifter. I don't know the sport too well, but I understand how the weights are called. So you have to claim your weights, and then it becomes a mental game. The coaches are sitting around a table, they kind of start writing down numbers, then you get to change it. The last minute changes, and you're fucking up, You try to psych out other athletes by making a huge opener. It's all like, really? You're going to make that your opener? Holy shit, how strong are they?
Right.
And, and every now and then, she wasn't the only athlete to bomb out. There was an athlete in the male division, and I think the 89 kilo, or the lower kilos, who also bombed out because they set their opening weight too high. Yeah. And I think Laurel had the issue of her or her coaches, I don't know whose fucking decision it was, they just set the opening weight too high.
Yeah.
Her opening weight was the third attempt for some of the other athletes in the weight class, and I'm just like, really?
I mean,
that. Well, there's your problem.
Right.
I think.
Because was she able to hit those numbers? Was she able to hit that number outside of the Olympics themselves and in the circuits of?
I'm gonna guess yes. You would never ever make your opening attempt a personal best. You would make it maybe 3 kilos below personal best. Something, because you want to get something on the board, right? Worst case scenario, you want a number on the board.
Right.
Oh shit! You never want to bomb out. You never want to miss every single lift, and
2019.
There aren't too many athletes who could miss a first attempt and then keep going.
Well, it looks like in the snatch. Well, this is 2019.
What was her opener? I think it was 120 in the Olympics. Her snatch opener was 120.
Yeah, it was 120, but because it looks like it's crossed through on Japan because she obviously bombed out, but it looks like she hit it in Thailand, in the World Championships, so just the circuit of weightlifting.
So she opened. Wow, well then what the fuck happened? 120, 120.
I don't know. And then she obviously
that sucks, dude. That's unfortunate.
Clean and jerk.
Yeah, again, she's also she's up there in age. She's 40.
Yeah, but I mean, the controversy, or what people dub as the controversy, because her transition was late in her life, that due to that, like, she was going to have this unfair advantage, but because like her bone density, development, the muscular development, and all that stuff before her actual transition, she was fully aged at the time adult male. And then as she transitioned, they were saying, oh, well, she's going to have this crazy advantage over these biological females or whatever.
Right.
But, you know, that was not the case.
It was not the case, but at the same time, there is so much involved in that. And I just barely started looking into this not too long ago. Like, well, now that I'm thinking about it, like, how big of an advantage is it after transitioning, you know?
Right.
And then, obviously, it makes a difference at how old you are when you transition. Like,
yep.
How long after puberty did you, like, all these different things that can go into these decisions. And I just don't think we have a large enough sample base or enough actual, like, medical research data to make any decisions on how to, like, appropriately and fairly integrate trans athletes into sports. And I think until we get that data, we should just let them compete in whatever category they want until we start, you know, actually collecting enough data to figure out, well, what is the fairness? Like, I think legitimately there just is not enough medical basis, like chemistry, biology basis, to figure out and how to start making decisions or anything like that.
I mean, I definitely agree with that because I'm not familiar with other cases where there might have been a trans athlete at this kind of a level as far as the Olympics.
It's a bigger issue in college athletics than it is in the Olympics.
That's
right
what
now.
I would assume. Yeah. But like at the top elite level of athletics, you know, how many people who are trans are, you know, competing, and what if there is this advantageous thing that's happening. Obviously, at least with Laurel Hubbard, she bombed out. So I mean that's one sample example where, okay, well, I guess it wasn't too much of an advantage because she completely bombed out. You know.
There are some, and the dude from More Plates, More Dates, I watched a couple of videos that he made on it. Now, of course, there is a bias there, I think implicit, but looking through all this data, like even what they're testing, and it was an issue with one of the runners who is intersex, so she presents as female, but she has some male organs because she's intersex or something, and her testosterone levels are within acceptable range of the Olympics, but also much, much higher than the average woman. So like, and then there is a difference between free testosterone and measured testosterone, and all these different things, and I'm like, I don't think there is just enough data for us to know what we can and cannot do yet.
Right.
Or how to, like, I mean, I'm sure there's a million different ways you can do this. Like, if it comes out that you can actually get a measurable amount, you can just put them in a different weight class. I don't know. I don't know what the solution is.
Right.
But in the interim, I'm just like, okay, well, if they meet the definitions of the athletes, if they're whatever is within some type of level.
Yeah, because that's how they were measuring.
I don't care. Just let them go.
That's how they were measuring it due to like the decibel level of her testosterone or whatever, right? Or deciliter. So I mean, she was under that specific level. So I mean, I guess for now that's a fair way to judge that, because then the main thing that happens is like, okay, if you make a separate category. Okay, these are trans athletes, but they don't want to be treated as such as like, oh, I'm just like this, I'm actually not a woman or whatever, because that's the whole issue then.
I get that, and I'm not saying that is the solution.
No.
We just don't know enough to know what the solution is yet. And it's not like we don't do that already. Like, we have the Paralympics, and the whole reason there's a separation in the sexes in the Olympics, that's like full-on Title IX stuff, right? Fairness and all of that stuff.
Yep.
And I'm totally for it. At the moment, I think if they meet the definitions of what's allowed in the Olympics, let them compete. I don't think there should be any sort of, but they transitioned when they were 40 versus 20 versus before puberty versus after puberty.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck. Here are your standards. They meet them. let them compete.
At least for now, until there's bigger samples.
Yeah.
And, until it looks like there is this clear advantage. But for now, I mean,
if there is an advantage, right now we're assuming there's some advantage, right? Right now we're making the assumption they have all these bone density, but how does that change if you're on estrogen and those things tend to go away? Like even if you look at professional wrestlers who are on testosterone or something, and then they go away from that. I'm like, within months, the difference is like, wow, you flattened.
Dipped.
You know, so
miserable.
what is the actual advantage? Like, after you transition, after how long does it take? Like, at what point are you this or that? Like, I just don't think we have enough information or enough data. I think when we're saying there is an advantage or there isn't an advantage, I think we're making a lot of assumptions. I mean, sure, there are some, you can make valid arguments like, well, their free testosterone is higher, their bone density is going to be higher, their hip, attachment is going to be different.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, yeah, that's fine. We're assuming those are advantages.
Yeah.
Can you prove to me? Like, can you give me a sample data set? Can you show me XYZ controls this? Can you show me some sort of data that those actually are advantages when they translate practically into the sport?
Right. And that's just where we're at this point. You know, with this specific conversation is that. So we had this example, this sample, right? This person specifically bombed out. So obviously, currently that argument is not, valid for now. I would say. Like, there's that advantage, but we just don't have, like you said, enough information.
Right. Yeah. So
to come to these conclusions.
Does that mean being trans is not an advantage? That's not what it means at all. If Laurel had one, does that mean being trans is an advantage? No, that's one athlete in one sport.
Right, exactly.
So you cannot say anything with any certainty right now. There's just not enough anything. So in the interim, stop bullshitting. Let them compete.
Yeah, I mean that's my opinion as well. As far as trans athletes, like, just let them compete. If it does come out later on, then I mean we'll give a shit about it.
Yeah, cross that bridge when we get there.
Right.
You know, it's not like what happened when Lance Armstrong admitted to doping. They took away his titles.
Right.
And they gave them to the next person in line. Fuck it. If that's what happens, that's what happens. I'm not saying that will happen. I'm not saying that's the right choice. It's just that we don't know. Let's figure it out and then cross the bridge when we get there. You know.
Yeah, I agree. Damn, we've been talking for over an hour.
Oh, wow.
I'm impressed.
One last thing.
Yeah.
The one argument against trans athletes that really stands out is always the college scholarship one.
Oh, what's that argument? I actually haven't heard that one.
So this happens all the time. Because college athletics is so crazy and insane, and it's such a money pit. A lot of people are saying like, this person is not going to make this running team for this college because a trans athlete is going to take his or her spot. That's stupid. Like, they're trying to get to college. The barrier of entry to college should not be your athletic scholarship. And I think that's the bigger issue here. Because one of these issues that keep popping up, and I see this every fucking time, whenever this trans athletes in sports comes up, and it's always college athletics, and it always has something to do with, are you replacing someone on a team? Or are you taking someone's place in a college and you're taking away tuition or something like that? I'm like, first of all, one, if a trans athlete makes it on a team, that means they fucking worked hard and they deserve to be on that team. Okay? Fuck that. And number two, your problem has nothing to do with trans athletes. Your problem has everything to do with the complete inaccessibility of college education in the United States. That's your actual problem. You're making the wrong fight. Because I see these articles, like, and if you look up trans athletes all the time, like, it's something to do with college or college admissions or college athletics or college scholarships.
Right.
Your fight is not with trans athletes. Your fight is with the politics of paying for education.
Right.
You're fighting the wrong fight.
Yeah. So I mean that's exactly the issue.
Yeah, you're fighting the wrong fight.
Just the wrong boogeyman, so to speak.
Wrong fight.
Yeah.
These Olympics sucked.
Yeah.
I did not like them.
When are they actually over?
I don't know.
Well, you know what it is?
It's an off year.
Yeah.
You know, like obviously the thing happened, and now we're here, and now
It's not even that. It's just like the Olympic committees, like the way the beach volleyball being fined for not wearing the right shit.
oh, so that was an actual.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I thought
Yes.
you were just.
No,
kinda
it was
saying
a
that.
real thing.
Oh, okay.
I think it was the Danish team or whatever got fined for not
Really?
wearing. Yes.
Not wearing a bikini.
For not wearing a. Yes, I'm dead fucking serious.
Wow.
Between people's reactions to like, it was just like, God, the lack of sportsmanship or understanding or care or empathy or like, it just kind of sucked this year. I don't know, man.
Yeah. I mean, what's the one after this? What's the next one? Where are they going?
Well, 2024, I guess.
What is it, like every
It's every
4 years? But now it's...
2 years. 2022 is the next Olympics, the Winter Olympics.
No, that's right.
Which I totally like more. I like the Winter Olympics better than the Summer Olympics.
Do you?
Yeah.
Why? Well,
I don't know. I hate winter.
well, you hate the cold.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm like thinking like, okay, well, you hate the cold. So that's
I
an
don't know.
interesting irony.
And this ice dancing. I just fucking love ice dancing. I cannot. I fucking love figure skating. That's why. I fucking love figure skating.
Let's see. When is the next Olympics? 2022 Beijing.
Yeah.
Okay. And then Paris 2024.
Oh God, fuck the French.
Fuck the French, apparently.
Fuck the French.
What if we have French listeners?
They understand. They're sitting
They
there
know our
like,
quarrel.
yes, fuck the French. Yeah, God, I can't do a French accent for the life of me.
That's pretty good.
Mostly the language, is just like the entire French language is just a series. And if you're French or you speak French, you can't disagree with me. It's just a series of vomit noises, like it's an entire language of just vomiting. It's a language of gags and vomits. Like that's the entire language. Is just. I don't think it's romantic at all. Like I don't know what people get away with that. Like a romantic language, like Italian, Spanish, I totally understand. Portuguese to me, Portuguese is probably one of the sexiest languages ever.
Really?
Yeah, Portuguese and Finnish because of the long vowels. The long word, like a lot of vowel sounds, no consonants. It's very smooth and flowy, But like not French. It's like. Fuck you.
On that note.
Is that how we end it?
That's a good way to end it. I think. Olympics? Nope. Fuck the
Olympics? No. Fuck the French.
Actually, I'm on vacation next week, so we could do esports.
The week after?
Yeah.
Good. You're taking your parents to Wisconsin?
Yeah.
We're still live, you know that, right?
Oh, I know.
Okay.
Yeah, I know. I haven't actually hit the...
Are you taking them to the Dells, or are you taking them somewhere
No,
else?
I think it's northern Wisconsin. Some villa cabin thing.
Are you going up to Door County, or are you going up to like true northern Wisconsin?
You know what? I actually don't even know if it's north, but I looked up the weather for this place.
Because I went up there, because Door County was actually
Some kind of lake. Some kind of shit.
In which case, I highly recommend bringing bug spray.
Yeah, definitely. Bug
If you're going
spray.
up to northern Wisconsin, if it's anything like Minnesota, the mosquitoes are fucking
Ticks.
vibrant. The ticks aren't an issue; you can take them off, but the mosquitoes are a
Let me
nightmare.
see.
Why are we still on stream?
That's right, I can edit it.
Why
No
are we
big
still
deal.
on stream? Who's even watching us at this point?
I don't know.
We don't have any live viewers ever.
What's the it's Twitch on a very niche category. Let me see here. Delavan Lake, Wisconsin.
No, we'll have fun.
Is it cool out there?
God, no.
Oh shit.
Well, it's part of the